I'm standing here over in West Dubbo with Kath and Terry, and we've been having a bit of a look at the intersection. Now, the intersection we're standing here is part of the intersection that will be modified with the River Street Bridge option that's been so much discussion about around Dubbo. But I think there's a few things that people aren't quite aware of. Now, Kath, you've been telling me you had a visit from RMS and they gave some news that wasn't necessarily good news.
No, not at all, that's right. They were basically saying they are in preliminary stages of designing this intersection, and there is looking likely that all of the parking right up to the IGA on this side of the road.
And they're going to extend the turning lane there, because obviously traffic lights are going to be put in, that's part of the plan. And at the moment, there is a small turning lane that you can see just behind us there, but they're going to extend that. Now there's probably 12, we had a quick look at it there, probably 12 car parks that might be lost along there. And in terms of that, those businesses would absolutely rely on those people stopping in front of those businesses.
Yep, and so this is a neighbourhood centre, and so the whole idea is that people can shop locally. They can drive here, go out, get their milk, get their bread, get their dog biscuits, hop back into the car, and off they go. They don't have to go right in.
Terry, it came as a surprise, or will come as a surprise to many people, that part of the reason they're doing this is that they're talking about bringing B-triples through here. Yeah, and that's obviously a major concern.
Yeah, definitely. Having B-triples turning into Victoria Street, new highway on Land Street, so the impact that'll have on traffic is going to be enormous.
Yeah, and it seems like a large portion to lose for B-triples. Again, there is a small turning lane there at the moment, and we've witnessed, while we've been standing here talking, we've witnessed some B-doubles coming through there, and they seem to go through there okay. So it does seem like a big change. So I don't know that the RMS has actually thought about this plan, that the wider implications of this River Street Bridge option. Many people have been focused on the River Street Bridge part of it, but there's other parts like here that can have a major impact.
Yeah, and I don't think many people in Dubbo realise that if the bridge goes ahead, there's going to be B-triples going through in 60k zones in Dubbo.
The RMS need to go back to the drawing board, and we have talked about that a lot. It's really trying to solve two problems, the local traffic problem and the ring road problem, with one solution, which doesn't seem to work, and I think they need to go back and look at two separate solutions.
The ring road solution.
What RMS is proposing to do here will absolutely destroy the quality of life, not only for this business enterprise strip, but also for the people who live across the road. Now we have homeowners across the road. B doubles and triples rattling up and down this stretch, and having to cross 4 lanes of traffic and navigate a concrete median strip in the middle will be really quite treacherous.
It certainly is looking good at the moment. The shops on there are looking good. The facelift that's been done looks fantastic on there. I think probably the most disappointing part that I see is that an announcement was made some time ago by the state government talking about the $140 million that's being put into this whole project, but it would seem that announcement was a little bit premature, that the planning hasn't really been done for that whole project, and obviously there are some major flaws in that project. So for me as a taxpayer of this state, I would hope that some more thought was put into a major expenditure like that $140 million that's being voted.
And it seems like there's a lack of holistic thinking. I think that's really quite disturbing for us. There's been some kind of a paper exercise looking at what will fit without due consideration to the fact that this is a community.
Terry, you mentioned Inland Rail before. We've got Inland Rail, a huge project for this nation.
Yep.
You would have thought that maybe those B-triples don't need to be on the road as much as the Inland Rail.
Use the rail for minimise transportation instead of having to it makes common sense.
Yeah, so rather than upgrading the roads to handle B-triples, you've got the Inland Rail going ahead. Let's take advantage of that.
You still have to have B-triples and B-doubles and the ring road. Not coming through the town.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I focused on when I first became mayor was communication, making sure that everything you're doing from, in my case, a council perspective, you are keeping the public informed, you're letting them know where it was up to. That communication is just crucial in any government, local government, state government organisation. The communication in this situation?
We had a precinct committee established that represents major stakeholders in this area, residents right through to property owners and business operators, and we've had that going for quite some time now. It's been active all this year. We had a meeting with RMS recently on the 4th of July with council and said, please consult with us. We represent, we've got 13 members on our committee. We represent a lot of interests part of the community, please talk with us. And we heard nothing other than Terry had sent a couple of emails asking for updates where they were up to, and nothing came back. We've been marginalised, I have to say, in the process, which is very disappointing because a lot of from the way RMS have approached this now, even though they say they're preliminary consultations and nothing's set in quite in concrete, they still are using words like looking most likely. So this flags alarm bells. You know, this sounds alarm bells for us. We would like to talk more proactively when we absolutely incredibly believe that you can hear how noisy this already is, you know, so you can imagine more trucks along here.
Thank you, John. Gary?
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Kath?
Thanks so much.
Yeah, see if
Really
we can
appreciate it.
expose this and bring the real solution to light. I think it's really up there.
And people can vote with their feet.
I'm standing here in one of the shops along the Westerbo Strip, Aussie Rural. I'm standing with Margaret and just talking about the impact that potentially some of that loss of parking might have. So, Margaret, you started this business about 13 years ago and you work from home.
Yes.
You made the big move about 5 years ago into another shop in Dubbo, but you just found the car parking was a problem there. Finally, you've moved into this strip about 3 years ago and you found this is a great location for your business.
It is, it's a really good location. The customers like it because it's easier to obtain parking when there's parking available than it is in areas closer to the CBD.
Yep.
It's friendly. The people are all really good here. The shop owners here all work together. And when we found out that there's a possibility of losing all our parking that's on the street, it sort of made a little bit of a worry that there's going to put a stranglehold on this particular area. So we're trying to talk to council, the RTA who are proposing to do it, and possibly our local member to see if there's anything that we can get
From
out.
your perspective in this business, you can park right outside the door. It's a couple of metres away where people park.
Yes.
And you would find that your customers, from a convenience perspective, would typically park in front of the business. They'd come in, pick up their rural supplies or whatever they need to buy, and they'd back in the car and off they'd go.
Right. So you're only looking at someone probably staying there 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 15 minutes tops.
And you'll feel if they had to then park 50 metres, 100 metres away, that would have a major impact, a major negative impact on your business?
Well, it will, because not all things are able to be just picked up and carried out.
Yeah.
So therefore, they've got to have somewhere reasonably close. But not only that, a lot of these businesses rely on freight coming in, which if they close off this area and you can't park, the freight companies are not going to be able to drop off.
Yep.
Now that goes for the food areas, they have drop-offs, we have drop-offs, the flower blossoms have drop-offs, and they have pickups all day long.
Yeah.
So they've got people coming and going probably every half hour, maybe even more frequently than that.
Mm.
So it's sort of going to put a real damper on everything that happens in this area.
Mm. And yes, you say, I mean, I'm seeing here there's some dog biscuits here, and obviously that's not something you want to pick up and put over your shoulder and walk 100 metres down the road to
That's
put in the
right,
car.
yeah.
So you've got those sort of issues. And as you quite correctly say, a range of these businesses along here would be negatively impacted by the loss of that parking.
Oh, definitely. They're all very worried.
The landlord here has done a pretty good job in making a visual change to these shops, so it certainly looks much
they've
better.
made a brilliant change. The whole aspect, we've got a committee to improve this area after Kath and Terry did the improvements on the front of the building.
Yep.
With the fact that the council, because when you're coming in from the airport, your visual look at Dubbo, your first look is coming down this road, and it really isn't good.
Yeah.
But when you get to here, they've done all the fronts of the shops up, so if we can beautify it, but the RTA seems to have other ideas of, major transport coming through, so...
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's, and your story there, and as you say, that will be echoed by many of the other shops. That story there is one that I think the RMS needs to be aware of and needs to hear, because we don't want them to be having a major impact on businesses. And as you say, they sound like they're still in the planning stages, but there was an announcement made by the state government some time ago about that $140 million River Street Bridge option. So
Yes.
you'd hope that by the time they got to that announcement, they've already finished all their planning they've done. Thanks for your time, Margaret.
That's okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm standing here with well-known local businessman Henry John. He's been in the IGA family for a long time. And how long since you've been, or how long ago did you move in this one?
15 years ago.
15 years ago, wow. You don't look that old.
No, I'm still a spring chicken.
Spring chicken, that's right. So the plan that the RMS has been talking about to remove the car parks in front of businesses that are just beside you, this isn't your car park you're talking about removing, but beside you, that would typically push a lot of that parking then into your car park. So would that have an impact on your business?
Of course. You know, even with that parking space in here, and all the businesses out, all the employees, where they're going to park? They'll park near my place, and then where's my customers going to park?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we definitely go detrimental to our business.
Yep. And then the medium strip, they're talking about a medium strip along the highway as well. And you obviously have trucks, large trucks. The amount you'd sell, you'd have 30 or 40 semis coming every day, wouldn't you, just
That's
about?
right, yeah.
And so they've got to come in, and they would typically they'd be coming from a western direction, and they'd typically be turning across the highway and coming into your car park.
That's correct,
A
yes.
medium strip there, they couldn't do that.
No way in the world they have to.
Yeah. So that had changed the way they would actually come and try and bring goods into your particular business.
Yeah, that's right. So they have to be offload a smaller truck to offload it here. That's impossible.
Yeah.
A lot of truckers have not in the place to do that.
Yeah. So have the RMS consulted with you?
No, not at all.
Right.
First time I heard of is my wife actually told me. The customer asked her about it, so that's the first time I heard.
So a customer effectively told you about it rather than hearing about it through any official channels.
Exactly, because a lot of people travel from west. If you got a medium strip there, they're no way able to turn in.
Yeah.
So that's mean they have to do a U-turn on the roundabout and come back here. No way, they're not going to shop elsewhere.
But that won't be a roundabout then, that'll be traffic
That's
lights,
right,
so they
exactly.
won't be able to do a U-turn there.
That's right, yep.
So by that time they're across the other side of the bridge, and they might say, oh, it's too far to get back to OGA, I'll go into town and buy something I need in there.
That's right, yep.
Yeah, no, I can see it having a big impact on your business. Yeah. Right, well, thanks for your time, and I'll keep working on seeing if RMS can come up with a better solution that doesn't have a detrimental impact on a group of shops here. I think they're doing a great job at the moment.
Oh, because it's a neighbourhood shop, so last thing you want to, force everyone else going to shop at my shopping precinct. So.
Yeah, and that is the idea of neighbourhood shopping, to distribute that shopping around the city.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Good to talk to you, Henry.
Thank you.
The intersection at the moment has two lanes coming off there. You can see that vehicle, for example, use the left lane, and that quickly merges back into the one lane. It appears as though the RMS wants the second lane, the merging lane, just for B triples to be able to merge back in. And as I scan around from there, and again you can see that merges in quite quickly, you can see the length there that they'll be wanting to take up all those car parking spots in front of that strip of shops there, which seems like a significant length that'll be removed. As I walk along these shops here, you'll see the types of shops that are being impacted. Tattoo parlour, Ted's Milk Bar. Surely people would want to pull up right in front of a milk bar. Ace Picture Framing. And all of these businesses would definitely rely on cars pulling up in front. You've got the post office there. Chinese, I mean, if you order Chinese takeaway, then you want to be able to pull up in front and walk straight in. So as we keep continuing along here, we've got Aussie Rural. We've spoken to Margaret and Aussie Rural. That will have a major impact on their business. Skill Set probably does some of their work outside the office, so not as major an impact. Blossoms, definitely. People want to pull up and grab their flowers in there. Another Chinese restaurant. Again, people would want to pull up right out here where there's a vacant car parking spot and go in and pick up their Chinese. As we continue to go along, hair design, you might want to park a little bit further away, that might be okay. And Thai massage. And then we go off, and if people did end up parking in the IGA car park, for example, then I'm not sure that would be great for the IGA business, losing a number of their car parking spots. If all those cars that were back along this strip, if all those car parking spots were gone and they had to find somewhere else to park.